Hello and welcome to In the Clear, the only show that 1 out of 10 doctors recommend to help cure depression. The other 9? Well, who needs the other 9? That's a whole doctor that says this might work, and we use might loosely. I'm your host, Tom Stark, and we have a great show planned for you tonight. Frank from Exploring Abandoned Mines swung by to tell you about mines and their abandonedness.
Abandonedness isn't a word.
I am well aware of the fact of that, but I'm still using it anyway. As I was saying, we also have another complaint tonight from yours truly. Remember to stay informed for more of our content by subscribing and leaving a comment to let us know what you liked or didn't and what you'd like to see. Now, sit back and let my words do the talking. That's Frank, but if you've listened this far, you know that already. He has a channel called Exploring Abandoned Mines. Now, knowing that information, take a guess as to what he does. Very good. Thank you for playing along like that, if you did. I now know what Dora feels like when she waits. Frank lately took a seat with me to talk about what he does in and out of the mines, and here it is. Hello, I'm here with Frank from Exploring Abandoned Mines. Frank, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Thomas?
Very well, thank you for asking. I want to start off by saying thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, no, I mean, we have a lot of different. YouTube's such a cool place. They got all these interesting people doing all this stuff, and we like to try to help out people who are doing this different stuff and have a chat with them. So it's always interesting talking to new people about these kind of things, mining and the whole genre.
I agree entirely. I want to ask how you got into checking out mines. Where did that start? Why did that start?
Well, there was a cattle rancher up in northern British Columbia there, and they offered us a whole bunch of money for a ranch, and we moved south. We're actually right close to the United States border, right by Washington.
Okay.
And I had an airplane, so I was flying in the area, and there's a huge mine here called Phoenix that was shut down in 1920. And you fly over, it looks like a beehive almost. You see all these big holes, and they think, oh wow, And I remember when I was in my 20s, we checked out a couple mines one time on the weekend, and I went in there and checked it out, and it's just a huge complex of mines. There was, I don't know, about 37 miles of tunnels in there at one time, and it was just a huge thing. So we started going there and just kind of checking that out, and kind of got addicted to it, and but kind of made some videos of it and whatnot, and we've been doing that pretty much full time for the last 6 years. So we've been all over Canada, the United States, Mexico, and we'd like to go to Europe too. So just having a lot of fun doing it, and our skills are really kind of improved. But the mine we're in right now, we're 700 feet below the surface, so we've got a lot of rope climbing experience. My partner Sharon is very adept at doing rope work and going down. We go places kind of like none of these other people would really go that explore mines.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a lot of skills with we have air monitors and stuff like that, but also a lot of rope. We got the best rope stuff you can buy, and we just go straight down shafts into these mines. Where we're trying to document that for future generations that like to see what there is underground when they get all closed up. It's like an old western town, right?
Yeah.
You think, oh, cool if you could walk down that main street or something there 100 years ago, but there's nothing left there. So we want to try to document this so people can see it when it's all gone.
I like that. So, you said you've been all over Canada, the U.S., Mexico. How do you go about picking the mines?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult actually. So the best way for us to find cool stuff is because we've got a pretty big YouTube channel, about 150,000 subscribers. We get a lot of people saying, if you're ever in this state or in this place, whatever, we got these real cool mines. So we get a lot of that kind of stuff. So it saves us a lot of time if someone knows where there's some cool stuff and they can take us to it. So that's our favorite way of doing it. But then also, we do a lot of research through Google Earth, whatever. And we know the areas where where the big mines are, and that's the most interesting is the big mines. There's all kinds of little small mines. You go in there, go 100 feet or something. There's nothing really to see on. There's no point even showing it. But some of these big ones and the old ones and the history of Mexico and stuff. Basically, if you're traveling in an area where there's a bunch of mines and you're going through there, and we have drones and stuff like that, got Google Earth. If you see huge piles of waste rock, that rock came from underground somewhere. So there's substantial stuff there. So that's kind of our main. That's how we know if we're in the right area and we can find coal mines.
Okay, what is the coolest thing you found while mining then? Well, while checking out the mines, rather.
In Arizona last year, there's a place called Castle Dome, and they have kind of a ghost town there that they've rebuilt and a bunch of old mines. And I sent an email to the owner there, Alan, and I said, would you mind if we came down there and check out some of them mines? He says, no, there's no problem with that. We've got all kinds of these mines. No one's been into some of them since the 1800s. It was the oldest patented mine in Arizona at the time.
Wow.
So we went there, and so they had the museum and all that kind of stuff. And I told him, and this is the arrangement we made, and he didn't ask me for that, but I said, if we find anything cool, we'll give it to you for your museum, because we kind of like what they're doing in the museum. And we went down there and we found 8 pair of jeans from the 1800s, bunch of Levi's and some other ones. And there were some of them worth about $50,000 a pair. And we gave it to him. So the video that, if you look back at my videos, it says, $500,000 worth of jeans. Mm-hmm. Somewhere in there, I guess, they're probably offered for sale. So we didn't get nothing out of that. True to our word, we give it to him. So that's got to be one of the coolest stories of something that we found underground, yeah.
Can you tell me a little more about the museum?
So when I moved to Grand Forks here, my idea was that, we retire here and I was going to buy a logging truck. So I bought a place at 25 acres, had a big, large shop on it. I want to buy a logging truck and start hauling logs. And I don't know, down south, it's kind of a sunshine tax. Everyone's kind of lazy and they don't pay much here. So when I found out what the rates are, I said, no, I wasn't going to do that. And then when I flew over Phoenix, we found there was all kinds of cool stuff underground. So I got this idea that let's save a bunch of this stuff that's getting collapsed and make a museum. So we got this huge shop. It's 100 by 40, so 4,000 square feet. And we've just been putting all this stuff in this museum. So what's happened more lately is we bought another piece of property. It's 27 acres, and it had a gold mine on it with about a mile of workings underground. So what we're going to do is we're going to move our museum underground. We're going to have most of that stuff underground where people can kind of check out all this kind of stuff. So the one thing I really enjoy is trams. So back in the day, in the late 1800s and stuff, they found minerals in some of these really steep areas where they couldn't get them down to the railways and stuff. So they built these big trams, and they're almost like the ski lifts you see today. They're big buckets. And the very simplest form of it is there'd be like 2 buckets. One's at the top of the hill, one's at the bottom. So the one at the top, they fill that full of ore, and the weight pushes down like a clothesline and brings the empty one back up. So a guy just sits up there with a brake. It's not powered or anything, and they can move a whole bunch of ore down thousands of feet down real steep country. So basically, that whole technology was abandoned in about 1930 because they started getting little cats and stuff. They can build roads and they started hauling stuff with trucks and stuff like that. So there's all kinds of remnants of these old trams. So that's one thing. We want to build an old tram. There's none operating in Canada anywhere that we know of. Mm-hmm. So we have all these parts and all this stuff. We've been all these mines. We're going to rebuild that. So we're kind of excited about that.
Where do you, or rather, what do you think of like the impact you've had on the internet is? Like we were talking before this, you said you've seen a bunch of channels blow up doing the same thing now. Do you think that's cool? Do you feel like you ushered that in?
When I first started getting interested in doing videos and stuff like that, I was doing a bunch of stuff with my airplane, but nobody was really that interested in it. So we started going into these mines, and the success of that is that people think it's really interesting to see what's underground, but they would never go there personally. Mm-hmm. So there's kind of a vicarious existence that people sit on their couches and they watch this kind of stuff and they think, wow, these people are doing stuff that I wouldn't do personally. So there is that. And that's why the success of things like Ghost Town Living and some of these other other channels, you think, wow, wouldn't that be cool if I could do that? You could imagine yourself doing that. And that's the real cool thing about the YouTube and stuff is, we worked with some producers on TV and stuff, and they're very, they got to worry about the reputation and different things, and they got to say things properly, and it's very scripted, and they think, well, people want to see that. But with YouTube, you can produce whatever you want out there, and people are either going to enjoy it or they're not. So it's democracy in action, right? So there's a lot of people that watch my stuff and they decide, well, they're going to have a YouTube channel. They can do what I do. That's fine. Some people are more maybe entertaining than I am or whatever, and some of these channels have done well, and some of them haven't. But it's an evolution of, I would say the entertainment industry is really evolving where you look back in the days before Survivor. The stuff you watched on TV was like Three's Company or All in the Family or whatever, probably before your time, but stuff was very scripted, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Survivor comes out, and then you're watching something that's supposed to be reality, which is probably mostly manufactured, but it caused a huge revolution in TV, where all of a sudden people are watching things that they kind of dreamed about doing, and they didn't know what was going to happen next, and it wasn't just comedy and jokes. And then in a lot of cases, people will be able to learn from stuff that was going on, not in a way that it's kind of scripted or anything like that, but people get themselves into situations where a truck gets stuck and they figure out how to get it out, and it's really a big revolution in the entertainment business, and I think it's continuing on to this day, and who knows where it's going to go from here. But I think it's really exciting and far better than it was.
Love the answer. And that is all the time we have on this one, but thank you so much for stopping by.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for having a chat with me. I really enjoy, talking to all these different people that are doing all these different things.
Thank you so much.
He was interesting, knowledgeable, and a real polite human being. See that? Skipped saying great or amazing. Trying to break a habit here. And the first step to breaking a habit is admitting that there is a problem. Anyways, please head on over to his channel and show him some love. Also, if anybody has been to his museum, please let me know down in the comments below. You know what time it is? Social standards, baby. That's a segment where I complain about things that people do that bother us all and don't feel like mentioning it out loud. Today's topic: when you mention plans in front of someone and they invite themselves. Let me start here. If you were meant to be invited and they forgot, in that moment when you were told about said plans, they would finish it by saying, "if you want to come." Do not let people make you feel bad for not having included them, and don't feel the need to supply a reason. Maybe you're going on a date and you just don't want a third wheel. Maybe you want to get to know a new friend better. Or maybe you just didn't want that many people around. Everybody has different comfort levels, and it's important to understand and respect that. It is, however, not important to go, "Why wasn't I invited?" Stay home, read a book, order a pizza and share it with your cats. Yeah, that's right. I savor the moments when I'm not invited, because I get to relax and store up my social battery to burn it at a later date, doing something else mundane and trivial. It's not a bad thing to not go to everything. So please, leave your FOMO at home where you should be on that day when people are doing something, unless you have other plans. Rant over. And we've made it to our final segment of the day. Two types of people. This week, because we're winding down in the summer but looking to stay in the theme, we have chosen to do ice cream or frozen yogurt. Honestly, this is a toughie. They're both so good. Please head on over to our Twitter and let us know what you think. Link in the description below. And that's our show this week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If we get 100 subs before next year, Joe said we can get milkshakes. And boy, oh boy, do I love milkshakes. Have a great night, tip your waitress, and until next time,